He kept getting involved in sort of strange arguments with the judge. It was not his best day at all. Um, and then, incredibly, he actually broke down and seemed to be close to tears at the end of the hearing. So here's what happened. David Sherborne, his lawyer, the very final question, he said to Harry, "How do you feel now about what Associated did to you?" And this is what Harry said. He said, "Through the course of this litigation, it's only got worse, not better. I think it's fundamentally wrong to put all of us through this again when all we were asking for was an apology and some accountability. It's a horrible experience. And the worst of it is that by sitting up here and taking a stand against them, like I have done through this litigation, they continue to come after me. They have made my wife's life an absolute misery, my lord." And as he said that word misery, his voice cracked and he appeared very close to tears. And he sort of raised his hand up like that. And Sherborne quickly said, "Thank you, no further questions." Was it a perfectly timed um, performance in the witness box? I'm sure there is an element that it is far from unhelpful for Harry's case to show his emotion, but I do think also it's very clear that the proceedings of today got to him. He he spoke about how some of these things that we've heard before, a repeat of the past, a recurring and traumatic experience, about his life being commercialized by these people. Now, I thought this was really interesting. As you know, I'm a big critic of the Sussexes putting their kids on social media. I think it is extremely hypocritical when he criticized, he talks about the damage that was done by his life being commercialized by outside people to now be commercializing his children's lives. I think that the whole Brooklyn Beckham thing is a very vivid warning to Harry and Meghan about the dangers of commercializing your children's lives without consent, of including them in your brand. We saw Brooklyn Beckham talking about the dangers of brand Beckham. Sorry, we lost something there. I don't know what happened. Sorry, we're going to try and come back. We're going to try and get back in a minute. Bear with me, please. Sorry, I've got too many apps open on my phone. We will be back in a minute. We'll be back in a minute. Sorry, just give me a moment, please. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the audio. It's the audio playing on my it's the audio playing on my YouTube channel. Thank you, Ben. Ben's showing some clips on the YouTube channel. You're right, I needed a strong cup of tea. Ben, maybe I could ask you if we could just only have visuals on the YouTube channel, because I'm actually streaming on two screens at the same time. So please forgive me. So yeah, so it was a pretty powerful closing by Harry, and I certainly I don't think that Harry had the best day. I really don't. I don't think that I think he was completely rattled by the change of the timeline and the change of the date. He didn't look relaxed when he came in. He looked tense and he looked nervous. And Associated News's Solicitor White really got him. He kept finding these little areas. I mean, for one thing, and I talked about this morning how he got him on various things about, pushed Harry into having these sort of ridiculous arguments with the judges. A lot of White's energy today was devoted to the statute of limitations things, trying to sort of show that Harry had plenty of knowledge of what was going on, and could have easily, he was trying to claim that Harry could have easily bought this case years and years ago. And there was a really interesting exchange about the Leveson inquiry, where Harry, in his witness statement, said sort of two things at the same time. He said that he hadn't followed the Leveson inquiry, and he had followed the Leveson inquiry. So, White definitely got him there. I don't think it was enough I don't think Associated are going to get very far on this limitations thing. They tried to get the case kicked out on the statute of limitations. The judge has already rejected that. So I think it's a bit of a lost cause for them to keep banging away at this one and trying to get the trying to get the case back. Yeah. So so overall, I'm sorry, I seem to have turned off my camera for the YouTubers. I'm turning it back on. Sorry, one or two technical difficulties there. Thank you very much for bearing with me. It's difficult doing this on the move, not out of my studio at home where we have everything organized. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. Thank you very much for your support, supporting us as the Royalist, as we are covering this case for you from London. And thanks very much, everybody. I will be back at 5 o'clock. I just wanted to bring you this quick update. I'm going to write a few things now, get my thoughts together, and hopefully come back with Paula Froelich, the great Paula Froelich, back at about 5 p.m. this evening, about 12 noon. And actually, sorry, Ben, my producer, is telling me that actually we've conquered our technical difficulties. So we'll carry on for another 5 minutes. Okay, so this is a pivotal moment in, Harry's case against the media, Harry's campaign against the media. And don't forget, when he won against the Mirror Group, he described himself as a dragon slayer. He said that this was his life's work, that he was very fortunate that he was in a position where he was rich enough, he had the financial resources, he had the media resources, he had the popular support, that he was able to take them on. And if he couldn't take them on, nobody could take them on. So he's very much pitched this as a moral crusade. And I have to say, for what it's worth, I believe him that it's a moral crusade. I mean, he's certainly not going to be making any money out of these cases. And I do also believe that it is an absolutely horrible experience for him. But I also wonder if he could go back in time 6 years to when, he first announced that he was going to launch all these legal cases against, and it began with the copyright case against the Mail, and then it became the hacking case, and it became all these cases. You have to wonder really whether he would undertake this, because really, what's he achieving? I mean, we all know hacking took place at lots of British newspapers. We all know that it doesn't really happen anymore. And, White, the ANL barrister, kept saying yesterday, particularly, the case is stale. The case is very stale. And that of course, he's saying that in connection with the statute of limitations. But it did make me think that from a narrative point of view, from a media point of view, the story is very stale. Like, there's a whole generation of people out there, I'd say people under the age of 35, have no idea of what a big deal a front page story in the News of the World was. They have no idea about the fake shake and Mazza Mahmood and the scumbaggy journalism, and they don't care because they've kind of moved on. And yes, in one way, of course, you take your hat off to Harry for fighting the press corruption and the terrible stuff that was done by the tabloid media back in the day. But on the other hand, I sort of wonder whether really this is going to benefit anybody um, in the long run. And most of all, is it really going to be of benefit to Harry? And is it really a kind of just a terrible grudge that he's held against the media that, and of course the media behaved very badly around Diana, and he believed, Martin Bashir, it's well documented, lied through his teeth to Diana to get her to cooperate with his interviews. And we know that, he was harassed as a boy. We know all that. We know all that. And I think the point is that we maybe don't actually feel quite as sorry for Harry as we would do if they just put their story out there through, normal methods of PR rather than trying to have this massively expensive legal fight against the media. So that's my kind of view on the whole thing. And look, this is only the beginning. Harry will, I'm sure, he was due to be on a plane home on Friday. I'd say he'll probably go this evening or tomorrow. Um, and but the trial is far from over. There are going to be 9 weeks. There are more witnesses. There are 6 other claimants. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the case develops over those next 9 weeks, how David Sherborne presents Harry's case, how Associated fight back, and ultimately, will this key bit of evidence saying that they paid a private investigator to get Chelsea Davies' seat number on that plane and plotted, thought about plotting to put someone next to her on the seat, something that Harry described as absolutely disgusting. And I think few people would disagree with that assessment. Will that be enough to get Harry over the line? Well, we won't find out for a couple of months. There's going to be lots more to come in this case, and I'll be covering it for you. So thanks very much. I'm going to end it there. Goodbye.